you heard the submission by Harvey in relation to this continuation from the cause. Remember, who caused the movement of money? We have demonstrated today very conclusively that the learned judge was wrong in making the assessment that it must be Datuk Sri Najib because of his special position as a Prime Minister, as a Minister of Finance and as Emeritus Advisor. So we have shown that being what you are as a judge had decided is not the key word. The key word is, did you act in those capacities to move the money? You understand? How do you as a Prime Minister move the money? In SRC, you got nothing to do with the SRC, except that SRC is one of the companies of MKD. You don't expect the Prime Minister to be, what they call it, having dominion over the property. He's not entrusted with the funds of the money. So, the charge they took is in relation to three positions. Not individually, you know, it is cumulatively, not independently of each other. They said as Prime Minister and MOF and Emeritus Advisor. So you must be acting in all these three capacities at the same time, and therefore to be entrusted and therefore to move the money out of SRC. That's very critical. Now, one of the judges, in fact both of them, asked, you remember this is a very critical point, if the board of directors doesn't seem to know what happened to the 4 billion, you remember? You remember the first 2 billion went into an account of SRC that the bank, that the SRC directors did not even know. They did not know there is such an account that was opened in SRC. That's the one that I call it a secret account. When they join in as member of the board, they never knew such an account existed. I think it is a 736 account. Okay, the first 2 billion went into that account, and it left that account on the same day. The second 2 billion went into the other account, which the board was aware, but it went in and it left about the same day. Okay, so when we asked them, do you know what happened? How did it leave? And what happened to this money? The two directors, Datuk Subuh, PW42, and what's the name, Tan Sri Ismi, he said they don't know. So that raised a question today. Datuk Wazir asked, Datuk Wazir asked, the bank, the board of directors doesn't seem to know. So who could have moved this? The one point we made is, it could not be the Prime Minister, the MOF, or the Emeritus Advisor, because in this position, he doesn't have anything to do with the management of the company, especially the money. How can the Prime Minister be involved in it? So, Justice Wazir asked again, so the directors don't seem to know, so who moved this money? The answer was very direct. It was an act of theft by the insiders of the company who moved it out without the knowledge of the board of directors. Now, if the board of directors does not know, what does it mean to you? It means clearly, you remember we were dealing with shareholders' resolution. Board of directors said, we always act on what the shareholder decides, which to begin with is wrong, because board of directors are supposed to decide first, because you are the biggest organ of the company. In fact, you are what they call the alter ego of the company. You are the thinking organ of the company. You decide, and then whatever you decide, the shareholder will get the advice from your decision. The shareholder can take a different idea, but the decision-making process is always with the board. Okay? Now, because a shareholder can decide selfishly in a normal company. Okay? Of course, in a government company like this, the shareholder decides selfishly for the benefit of the government, which is MKD. But board of directors must always decide for whom. They decide only in the interest of the company, because the company and shareholders are two different entities. Yeah? Company is a separate entity by itself. So quite clearly, the way the money came in and the money moved out, we know how the money came in, how the money moved out, was clearly an act, a criminal act by individual or individuals in the management. And we have, this morning, we have in fact submitted heavily the role of Jolo vis-a-vis the company and vis-a-vis the bank. The bank is implicated, and it is for that reason they have been slammed with 2-point-something billion penalty from the authorities. Why should a bank be penalized so heavily unless you are so badly involved and there is serious misconduct? Okay? That is the reason why we make the application. We want to get all these documents, and also the document from Bank Negara about ZT and all that. So it's all very, very, very connected. So in short, what I can conclude is this. As a Prime Minister, first, I expect my what they call it, account holder punya mandate to behave well. That is Nick Faisal. Because that's why, as a Prime Minister, I'll be busy. I give a mandate. You operate my account in accordance with my wishes, right? I expect him to behave well. There is no evidence that he directly has been, what they call it, misbehaving. Because we cannot say yes or no, okay? But the attempt to associate Dato' Azlin have fallen flat. Because you remember this lady by the name of Eng Sulin. Eng Sulin claimed she got a WhatsApp and a call from Dato' Azlin, and she acted accordingly in the transfer of money. Okay? Then we discovered, not because the prosecution gave it to us, prosecution was hiding from us. We discovered when the court compelled them to give it to us, the conversation in the BlackBerry between Joanna Yu with Jolo, right? And with Eng Suling and Joanna Yu, where they were actively involved in their conversation. Joanna Yu admitted that the person they're talking about, they referred to as our friend, is in fact Jolo, nobody else. But Eng Suling said no, our friend is not what do you call it, Jolo. Yeah, so she was clearly lying. So the whole thing fell flat because the role of Azlin therefore never came into picture the way Joanna Yu was describing. She clearly lied in court. So the people who were manipulating the accounts were the bankers, Eng Sulin, and who's the other guy? The Eng Suling, Joanna Yu, and what do you call it? No. Nick Faisal was not involved. It is in fact Jolo. These are the three persons critically involved. Now, who else were in SRC? We mentioned two names, remember? That they were in the account department. Now, none of these people were called. The one in the account department were called, the secretary involved with the making of the minutes, all not called. So there's a lot of gaps, right? There's a lot of gaps that we have shown. So basically, that is I would say the summary of the entire case today. Okay? Yes.
Just one last question. This is in regards to the bankruptcy notice. This is Dr. Najib. Have you received instruction?
Yes. Yes. Okay. You know, the notice was served on Monday, last Monday. But we were informed that it will be served a week before, about a week before, a few days before, and not coincidentally, it is just 2 days after the UMNO assembly, which make a decision that they are going to break away BN UMNO was going to break away from the current government. All right? So immediately 2 days after that, they say we're going to serve you. So it is quite clear. This is an abuse of process. This is clear intimidation. If it is not a legal authority doing it, it will be a criminal act. But it is an intimidation, extortion, and an abuse of power. So we have got instruction, first, to stay the proceeding of the notice of bankruptcy, which we are filing. We are filing in the next couple of days. All right, that's number one. Number two, we are also asking for a stay of that, the order of, sorry? Yeah, the order where the taxation amount was given by the High Court. So that too we are asking for a stay, because the previously we didn't get it simply because it said it's not matured yet. So now that the notice has come out, obviously it has become necessary for the court to reconsider that we stay the proceedings in both. Okay? Is there a third thing? Yes, we are also making an application to set aside the entire proceeding where the amount was, the bankruptcy notice that we want to set it aside. So there are three separate proceedings. The first two is connected. The other one is in the amount where the judge make the decision. All right? But you can see quite clearly, there are many people, or rather there are some people, interested to disqualify my client for any election, for any position in any party, quite clearly. Okay? All right?